we'll get straight into it. And look, one of the biggest games of the season coming up here. Manchester City at home to Liverpool, Saturday, 12:30. We'll take a look at the betting. Currently, we have a matchbook.com on Thursday afternoon. Manchester City, 1.68 at home to Liverpool, who are a 5.7 shot. The draw is available at 4.3. Both teams to score, yes, is 1.76 with no 2.16. The Asian handicap line sees Liverpool get a goal start at 1.85. And the total in this one, the goal line, is currently set at 3.0, but that is shaded a good bit to the under. So, look, Mark, we'll start with you on this one. First game back, 12:30 after an international break. It seems a mindset of it'll be cagey, cautious, but with these two teams, it probably won't be, will it?
I don't think so. It could be. You say the rule is never to bet the early kickoff, don't you, Dan? So
Yeah.
it's a piece of advice I didn't heed before, and it bit me in the buttocks. But this time around, perhaps it might be advice to heed, because it's not just an early kickoff. It's an early kickoff after an international break, which does kind of heighten the chance, I guess, for a team or a player even to be caught cold. But I kind of reviewed it and I thought, well, the last remaining sort of internationals were taking place on Tuesday night at the very latest, really. There was a few in sort of other parts of the world a bit later than that. So shouldn't really eat into that much sort of recovery preparation time. They should have a couple of days to get ready for this fixture. And look, it's a very important match for both teams, not just Man City's title aspirations, but Liverpool's claims to finish in the top four as well. They've kind of managed to get themselves back into a position of promise there. So still has a huge amount of riding on it. For City, there's clearly no margin for error from here. There's 33 points to play for. I suspect they'll have to pick up the majority of those, judging by Arsenal's form, if they are going to sort of defend their title this season. There are doubts over Liverpool too. So City, at the current price, I couldn't disagree or put anyone off them. Obviously, Haaland's fitness is a question mark. He didn't travel with Norway. Foden is definitely absent, but I suspect Haaland will be okay. I think City will be close to full strength. So they have tended to come to the party in the big matches that matter, particularly at the Etihad. 11 home wins from 13 in the Premier League. They've beaten United, Spurs, Newcastle, all with room to spare, in fact, as well. One away at Arsenal in their biggest test so far, even if the Gunners did give them a bit of a helping hand that evening. But the underlying data suggests that City are still the strongest Premier League suit, even if the league table says otherwise. I mean, if you're backing City, a lot of it has to be about sort of opposing Liverpool too, because on their travels, they've not been good enough. Just 3 Premier League wins on the road. They failed to score in 4 of the last 5 across all comps, including that limp effort in Madrid. 12 points from 36 away. They failed to score in 6 of 13 on the road. They were pretty well beaten at Bournemouth, weren't they? Not that long ago either. So I guess the positive for Liverpool, key players returning from injury. We talked about that centre-half in particular in recent weeks, but there's a chance that Thiago and Luis Diaz will be in the squad this weekend too, which makes them stronger going forward. And I kind of go back to the first question you posed there, Dan, about this being perhaps not such a tight encounter. I think we will see 2 teams with key players fit and available and firing at either end of the field. I just thought both teams to score, rather than sort of having to sort of tie yourself in knots trying to find a way to back City. Very, very, very rarely, if ever, can I remember in the last decade, both teams to score bet being available at 1.78 when Man City play Liverpool. It just doesn't happen. It's normally around the 1.5 mark. And that's despite Liverpool's issues on the road. The fact that they have actually scored, though, in every away day at top half teams bar Brighton encourages you, as does the fact that 4 of City's home clean sheets, 4 of their 5 home clean sheets have come against bottom half teams. So whilst they have been getting the job done, and quite impressively so, against the bigger teams, they do tend to give you an opportunity or two. And as we've seen in the past, City don't always have it their own way against Liverpool. Admittedly, their home record against the Reds is pretty strong and stands up to the test of time. But Liverpool always tend to give them headaches. And, there's too much attacking quality in that Reds team not to cause them a few problems on Saturday either. So, I thought ultimately in a game I didn't really want to be too heavily involved in, the both teams to score price was the one that really sort of did stand out.
Yeah, and Adrian, you're in broad agreement with the both teams to score angle. I guess look at it on the face of it, Man City versus Liverpool, as Mark touched on there lastly, 1.78 does seem quite big to me.
Yeah, look, I looked at the prices for this game, and I would say 10 seconds into that browse, I chose my selection. As soon as I saw the price on both teams to score, it's like, well, that's the pick. I just think Obviously, there's no guarantees that it comes in, but there are a lot of reasons why it might, and Mark's touched on plenty of those. It has landed in 6 of the last 7 City v Liverpool matches at the Etihad Stadium. Liverpool have scored in their last 8 meetings with Manchester City in all competitions. So they're a team that are used to taking the fight to Manchester City and prizing them open. City have scored plenty of goals against them as well along the way, of course. But yeah, Liverpool, I would fancy to get on the score sheet. I think they tend to raise their game, Liverpool, against some of the better teams. We saw that obviously against Manchester United, but we've seen it down the years under Jurgen Klopp. I think in all 7 matches against the top 6 this season, they have scored a goal, at least one, Liverpool. So yeah, I can see them scoring again. And look, Liverpool keeping clean sheets isn't really part of what they've been doing this season. City have scored in every home game. Haaland or no Haaland, Foden is out. We know that. You would surely expect Manchester City to get a goal as well. So yeah, I think most things point towards both teams scoring here. I couldn't tell you who's going to win it. I'd love Liverpool to win it, but I would suggest that because of City's immense home record, and as Mark says, their record in a lot of the big games this season, you have to have them down as worthy favourites. So yeah, I could see this being a 2-1, a 3-1 to Liverpool, but to Manchester City rather. But yeah, I hope they drop points here. The Citizens, that would be fantastic for the title race.
Well, which is what it's all about, isn't it? Yeah. And we will get to the article in just a second. Incidentally, if you haven't got a Matchbook Betting Exchange account, if you do look at the odds checker grid at just after 1 o'clock on Thursday, you'll see Matchbook Betting Exchange the best across all 3 match results: 1.68 for Man City, 4.3 the draw, and 5.7 Liverpool. So if you do have a bit of an inkling there, do check that out. But we will lock in 1.78 as an official bet from Mark and Adrian on the podcast. 1.78, both teams to score. Yes, does seem a big price to me.